Okay, we're talking about the two instruments. In terms, you can see the two instruments right behind me, right here. But the first thing I did, right, was, with so many different interests, I was like, okay, let me map things out and see what my world looks like. And then maybe from there, I'll be able to see some like clear paths and some clear routes between them. So I created a vision map, and that's what you see right here, right? Like, this is what I call my personal vision map. But what I did was like started out with like kind of bubbling out my commitments. So like bubbling out like the activities I loved and was involved with. And so I call them I don't know, my well springs, right? But for me it was like my spirit rituals, like I love to meditate, my physicality and movement. So I love yoga and dance, my expressions of my art, the art that I was creating. And so like I kind of bubbled things out, all these different activities, and I was like, oh, okay, like these are the things that I love and that I'm committed to. And then for you, it might be like, maybe it's basketball, and maybe it's like the debate team, and then maybe it's student government. And then once I had those kind of like my well springs like mapped out, like then I thought to myself, okay, like what are the things that they have in common? What's like the common element that I love about them that connects them all? And so then that's when I found out, like, oh, like, I call them my seeds, right? Like my key common thread areas, I call them seeds. And so for me, it was like, oh, okay, like I realized with all these things that I was doing, the things that I loved about them, right, was that, and the things that connected them all was, they had to do with art, and they had to do with activism or health and wellness or spirituality. And for you, Mikayla, like when you like map out, okay, basketball, debate team, student government, you might realize, oh, okay, the common element that connects them all is like maybe it's, I love offense strategy. Maybe I love policy. Maybe I love team culture, right? And then once I like mapped out my common threads, then I was able to see it so clearly. I was like, I had so much more clarity for the bigger dreams that I wanted to pursue. Because these were the core things that I loved about all the things that I was doing. And so from that, I created my little manifestation goals, right? And so, for me, it was like creating a podcast platform that, was about awakening, creating like an art exhibition around human potential, all this other stuff. And then for you, once you have your little common threads, you might be able to see, oh, like this is how it's gonna inform the bigger dreams that I want to do, you know? And so that's my vision map right there. And then once I came up with my vision map, Mikayla, I mean, that was kind of like my rock, right? That was the map I encompassed that I had. If ever I got lost, or if I was trying to figure out, okay, like, what are my priorities here? And once I came up with that vision map, that's when I created kind of a time machine, a tracking tool. I created a tracking tool to help me figure out how I could use my time wisely, right, to help me prioritize things, to keep me on track with my goals and my bigger vision. And so you can see that right here, just a quick teaser preview. I actually just wiped it out recently because it was June 1st and I had to wipe it down for the new month. But basically, yeah, I don't want to overwhelm you with stuff, but basically it's a structure where, once you have this, you can kind of take this and map it out into a tracking tool. So, I got my seed goals. These are my seeds. My seed goals here. I got my wellspring goals. These are my well springs, right? Like basketball, um, etc. And then I had like the goals for the month, my manifestation goals. I had the upcoming sequence so I can plan ahead. I had my weekly goals and benchmark notes. And then, my daily ruminations. This is another tool that we can talk about next time we sit down. But basically, every day I would sit down and I would kind of reflect on what I learned that day, and how it fit into the bigger picture of things.